Bob, during the past 34 seasons, thousands of race cars have passed through this pit gate. But despite the rumors you may have heard about a reprieve, it now appears that last night's Turkey Night Grand Prix was the final curtain call for the legendary Ascot Park. If it's true that a picture is worth 1,000 words, then this sign speaks volumes. On January the 1st, local developer Howard Mann will take over these 36 acres. It is his intent to build a retail commercial shopping plaza. Mr. Mann declined our invitation for an on-camera interview, and through his secretary said he would have no comment. It's our information, however, that he has no tenants signed up for his shopping plaza. And race promoter Kerry Agajanian says he'd like to keep on racing here at Ascot until Mr. Mann does have his tenants, and he's ready to build.
Although it is not in any vindictive matter, he says he cannot give us any extra time, and the reason for that really is that he has to start paying rent to the landlord immediately, a substantial rent, and as soon as he finds a tenant, he will then be able to start collecting rents from them that much sooner. And of course, a large retail shopping center can pay a lot more rent than a racetrack.
Since 1957, the Agajanian family has promoted motorsports competition here at Ascot Park. So, will there be an Ascot in the future?
There have been now 4 Ascots in Los Angeles, and I know one day there will be a 5th, and we're working on it virtually on a daily basis. When we find the right location and the right circumstance, I think another Ascot will rise.
Bob, the real irony of this story is that office complex right back there about 300 yards off the first turn. It was also developed by Howard Mann in cooperation with the Wells Fargo Bank. It only has a couple of floors occupied. The rest of the building is vacant, and the bank has taken the property back. In Gardena, California, I'm Gary Lee.
Well, Gary, over 106 cars and nearly 10,000 people turned out for the Turkey Night Grand Prix and the final event at Ascot.
It will be a shame to see this place go, but everything has its end.
In pre-race ceremonies, 4 drivers, Bill Vukovich, Bullet Joe Garson, Pancho Carter, and Parnelli Jones, were inducted into the AAA USAC Midget Racing Hall of Fame. Ascot lived up to its reputation of being a demanding track, even in its finale. In qualifying, Eric Gordon was a victim of the Turn 1 cushion. Despite being shaken, Eric was okay. In the last chance race, same spot on the track, 3 went over. No one was injured. USAC National Midget Points leader Jeff Gordon started on the tail of the feature. His regular car failed to make it, so he had to use Brad Knopfsinger's. P.J. Jones got the jump on pole sitter Stan Fox at the drop of the green flag and took the early lead. Once again, the first turn seemed to be the trouble spot of the evening. Warren Mockler is on his side, and that's Gordon in the black car on the left. When the green fell again, Jones and Fox put on a great wheel-to-wheel battle with P.J. able to hold him off. Meanwhile, Jeff stopped on the track with a flat left rear. But this was his second involvement in a yellow, so he was out of the race. He took a 35-point lead to the final event at El Centro the following night. Jones was able to hold off Fox until lap 51 when Stan used the low groove to pass P.J. Fox's car owner promised Stan $100 for every lap he could lead, providing he could win the race. And he did, putting his name into the record books as the final driver to take the checkers at Ascot Park.
About the 50th lap, figured I'd make a go for it and got around PJ, and the thing just worked great. I'm real happy for Steve Lewis, and our whole crew has worked real hard, and this has been all year long our main race to win is Turkey Night, so it's great.
P.J. held off Brent Kading to finish second, despite the fact that the pin holding his steering wheel came off only 20 laps into the race.
Hey, I mean, you can't complain about second, you know, at the last race at Ascot, and be sad not to be able to race here anymore.
When the racing was over around 1:30 in the morning, it seemed like no one wanted to leave. And those that did took home some souvenirs of that small tract of land in Gardena that has meant so much to race fans over the last 4 decades. Saturday night at El Centro, Jeff Gordon did win the USAC National Midget Championship. He finished 4th in the feature, won by Keith Roush. The loss of Ascot may mean the end of auto racing in greater Los Angeles, an area that has contributed greatly to the sport over the years. Donald Davidson looks back at some of the other tracks that have come and gone in Southern California.
February 1920 ushered in the incredible 1 1/4 mile banked wooden board track speedway on Olympic Boulevard in Beverly Hills, where the speeds were fantastic for the time. Laps were turned in at over 120 miles an hour, but sadly, the lifespan was short. Land was just too valuable, and the track was pulled down in 1924 to make way for the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. Southeast of here, also in the 1920s, was the first of several tracks to use the name Ascot, while up near Alhambra in Pasadena opened the speedway which would be known as Legion Ascot. Here was the hotbed of racing in the early 1930s, with winners like Wilbur Shaw and Bill Cummings. The most frequent winners were Ernie Triplett, two-time champion of the West Coast, Rex Mays, who was winning at Ascot even before he turned 21, and boisterous Al Gordon. Devil May Care best described him. But Legion Ascot was dangerous. Bad accidents were commonplace, and early in 1936, amidst much controversy, it was obliged to close. But the racers still had to race somewhere, so nearby Southgate responded with Southern Ascot. Action was just as frantic, and the promoter was a very young J.C. Agajanian with hair. A decade later, Aggie was presenting AAA sprints over at Carroll Speedway near what is now Los Angeles International Airport. But out went the land values here too, and Carroll was history by 1954. Then, a mile down the road, sprung up what was to become Ascot Park Speedway, mainstay for CRA sprints now for more than 30 years. Here has been dirt track sprint car action at its finest, with close wheel-to-wheel action just like this, punctuated by the occasional contact and the inevitable spin-out. So one can't help but wonder with sadness if sights like this will ever be seen in the Los Angeles area again.